All right. A coalition of LGBTQ-Plus organizations in Cape Town have called on South Africa's government, Parliament and Chapter 9 institutions to condemn Uganda's recently passed anti-Homosexuality bill. The group of activists marched to Parliament in Cape Town, describing the bill in that country as unjust and a human rights travesty.
Human rights activists as well as members of the LGBTQI community have gathered here at Parliament this morning after marching from Hanover Street in District 6. This, of course, in opposition to the recently passed bill in Uganda, which they say criminalizes and subjects LGBTQ plus community in Uganda to death in certain instances. Now, at the moment, there have been messages of support coming through from various organizations, human rights campaigners. One of them, Zaki Ahmad, joins me now to talk a bit about what this Ugandan bill means. Zaki, good afternoon to you. We've heard from a host of activists here about the far-reaching implications of a bill passed in Uganda, but the implications on a global society. Just elaborate on that, please.
The most important thing to remember here is this law constitutes a crime against humanity because it's targeting a group, the LGBTIQ community in Uganda, with violence, with hate, with imprisonment, exclusion and death. It says your parents can't love you because if they don't denounce you because you're queer, they can go to jail. So it's deliberately causing discord within families. It's the duty of all of us to recognize that this is a global phenomenon, the politics of hate. In the United States, they're banning drag, they're banning books, but they're shooting their children to death. At the same time, in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, they're hanging queer people. In Israel, there's an uprising because Netanyahu is staging a judicial coup. We have a duty to recognize that this can happen in our country too. And why can it happen in our country? It's happening in the world because there's hunger, because there's unemployment, because there's a rising cost of living, because our political representatives do no longer represent us in the way that they should, because we attack immigrants. These are the reasons it can happen here too. It will be difficult, but we mustn't be complacent.
We're talking about complacency, Zaki, and a short while ago you were calling for the recalling of the ambassador in Uganda. You were also, as a collective, calling on South Africa's Chapter 9 institutions, Parliament and our President to, at very least, denounce this bill.
The silence of our government and the African National Congress encourages dictators in Africa, not only on queer rights, but to politically imprison people. It's our duty here to say to Parliament, do your job. To say to the Pan-African Parliament in Johannesburg, do your job. So we say we are going to organize the biggest festival that we can within our meager resources to ensure that people see that our parents love us, that our colleagues love us, to see that organizations that we've worked with across the country come together. Not only the queer, not only the LGBTQ community, but the priests who love their congregants, the imams who love their jama'ah, the rabbis who know that equality, justice and dignity means something for all of us, not just for a few.